Hello everybody, this is Debo's Movie Reviews here, and today I'll be reviewing Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Starring, of course, Paul Newman as Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, starring and played by Redford, with Sundance's girl at a place played by Caffrey Ross. It's also directed by George Roy Hill, featuring Sam Elliott in an uncredited role in background, who of course was later went on to marry Catherine Ross, featuring Trevor Martin, Jeff Corey, who also at the same year played Tom Chaney in True Grit, with Ted Cassidy as Harvey Logan, who was a member of the gang, best known as Lurch. And another fun fact about Ted Cassidy was that he was a Dallas radio DJ and was working the day JFK was killed. Which, of course, if you watch a Kennedy documentary, you'd hear his voice. But enough about that. Because today's video is about Butch and Sundance, which I gotta say kind of promoted their folk hero status big time, from notorious outlaws of the heir apparent to Jesse James and the Hole and Raw gang, where of course Butch Cassidy got a nickname because he worked at a butcher shop, because his real name was not Butch Cassidy but Robert Leroy Parker, whereas Harry Longabaugh was Sundance, and he got the name because he was arrested in the town of Sundance, Wyoming, and which also, with the critical acclaim of this movie, inspired Redford to start the Sundance Film Festival, which I can say is Butch and Sundance which Cassidy and Sundance is one of his greatest movies. I mean, among young Redford being like, the favorites have been like this and Great Waldo Pepper, along with Winter Soldier. Whoever's like I could think of, but brain farting right now because they're not relevant as of now, but an underrated master, or I wouldn't say underrated. I do kind of would say one aspect of a flaw was kind of like didn't have a kind of would have thought would have had a body count in the sequence where they're in San Juan, because they talk about going to join the military to fight, become Rough Riders, but there was to hide. But of course, I'm not sure how historically accurate that was, given given how Etta Place was referred to as a teacher instead of a prostitute, because of in research of back then, they kind of figured Catherine Ross way too attractive to accurately be a prostitute for back then. Which, of course, that's kind of an inaccurate component that who the hell cares about that? I mean, geez. But then again, And again, it was a PG movie, not a R-rated movie. So yeah, it was had to be maintain a more semi-family friendly aspect for movies back then. So yeah, we remade it now. Let's see, somewhere like, I'm pretty sure somebody would have named Chris, being like Pratt or Evans or Hemsworth. Could be Butch and Sundance with practically Sydney Sweeney as at a place. If they, if they ever plan a remake, because I'm pretty sure that one's inevitable, because what the hell hasn't been remade yet, getting remade, or let alone in development hell to be remade these days. And for a one of a kind of Western masterpiece, especially with the soundtrack of this iconic masterpiece, which had B.J. Thomas and Rain Josky following my head. And you gotta admit the perfect chemistry of Newman and Radford in this movie. Hell, it's kind of, for a Western movie that focused more on a bromance than it did guns and antagonists, because it's like an outlaw. It was notorious outlaws, and let alone a lawman on the trail. Because kind of surprising, there had been like a one back in the 50s of a Wild Bill versus Jesse James movie, which the only thing close to that kind of crossover was season 3 of Young Riders, where Josh Brolin played Wild Bill, but that was like playing. But then again, that was Pony Express days, and completely unrelated. But overall, I got to give Butch, Cassidy, and Sundance Kids about a 4 out of 5. I mean, it's critically acclaimed, but not a bad movie, but just not something not one of the greatest ones, in my opinion. But overall, ain't bad, but kind of on the overrated side on that one. But overall, that's it. All right, I hope y'all like, subscribe, and enjoy, and I'll keep dishing them out.